Here's a question for you. Can I really make sultana replacements for scones using last year's black currants? Let's find out. Remember these from last year? Well, they're about to become sultana replacements in scones. Am I crazy? I'm going to attempt to dehydrate and then use these black currants as sultanas in a scone recipe, and I'll share the whole process and the results with you. But first, I will rapidly explain how did I come up with this idea. I was down the allotment and trimming my black currant bushes, taking out some of the old wood, taking out the branches that were too close to the edge of the fruit cage, and I was thinking, I want to renew the plants, but what if I take off too much and I don't get enough berries for this year? Then I remembered I had a really good harvest last year off the bushes that had become overgrown and were collapsing into the paths, which means I actually have a surplus of berries sat in the freezer at home which needs using. So while I was chopping away, I thought, already made cordial, what else can I put the fruit into? Can I get them stored out of the freezer? So I started thinking about the equipment that we have and the food that we eat, and then it hit me. I would combine the next batch of scones with this conundrum, as we'd just finished the last scone out the freezer. Scratching my head of how to put the black currants in. Too wet, and they would leach into the dough. So I guess we need to have a little experiment. Why am I dehydrating black currants anyway, you may ask? Well, many things came together. The wetness in the scone dough conundrum, that I'm always thinking of different ways to use ingredients, that combined with the fact my freezer is always full, and trying to keep full food bills down, I came to the conclusion that I could replace sultanas with black currants and remove them from the freezer if I dehydrate them first, and that would allow me to buy less sultanas. So what about my concerns? What do I expect to happen? I'm not sure if the tartness of the black currants will be too much, as sultanas are sweet. Will it be too much? Or does the fact that I enjoy scones with jam enough to combat this? Will the dehydrated black currants be too hard? Will I need to rehydrate them in future? What will they feel like in my mouth? Will they dehydrate properly, or will they remain sticky and alter the length that they can be kept? Let's find out. For test purposes, I'm going to taste test with margarine and then jam. I don't usually eat them without jam, but but I think it will let me taste the actual fruit more to start off with. So let's get stuck in. The sultana scone has a background sweetness, not as strong as I would expect. With the jam, which is grape jam by the way, the sweetness of the jam overpowers the sultanas, but makes the scone sweet and yummy. Combined with the crumbly texture, it is great. So I question if the sultanas are actually necessary. The blackcurrant's gone next. With the margarine, it allows the blackcurrant sharpness and tang through straight away. I would definitely need to add sugar to the scone dough if eaten this way. But that fresh twang really gets my taste buds going. I actually like that. Would be amazing with the extra sweetness in the dough. Right, the jam next. Wow, that adds this missing sweetness back straight away. The taste bud twang is there followed by a pleasant sweetness. I'm surprised that the currants do not feel hard against my teeth. They must have rehydrated a smidge. All in all, a success. I also tried this with the kids. They had no idea I'd replaced the sultanas and wolfed them down. Fabulous. We use scones in lunch boxes, using the margarine to keep the jam from soaking in until lunch. And that means we make them on a cycle. So every time I get to make the scones, I always try and make them that little bit different or have a little experiment. But this one has interested me the most. If you're enjoying this experiment, please consider giving it a like. It helps show it to others who might be interested as well. So there we have it. It was a success. And I would say yes. A new way to store blackcurrants outside the freezer. A replacement for sultanas in scones. Definitely. But did it save us any money? Yes, by us growing the fruit. But I think I would normally dehydrate them in the summer, so my solar panels provide the energy and the electricity, as they took quite a long time to dehydrate. Plus I would do it on parchment, not silicone, as weirdly this seemed to slow it down, which would then make them cost pretty much nothing. Would I do it again? Definitely yes. Using my own ingredients adds a lot to my baking. After all, we grow it to eat it, and this is another string to my bow. I'm really happy it worked, but the cogs are turning on what else I could put them into. Maybe cakes or muffins. Do you have any ideas what I could put the blackcurrants into? You could give me a few ideas. Have you ever tried something similar with last year's fruit? Can you share your experience in the comments below? It will be interesting to me what you have thought up. Also, you can subscribe for more quirky cooking experiments and gardening adventures. That would really help out my channel. I'll see you next time.